In this video, I'm going to talk about how to set up PyCharm and GitHub for our course. Before running through this video, you need to make sure that you install all three programs. The programs that you need to install are Git, PyCharm Community Edition, the most recent version, and the most recent version of Anaconda 3. Links and instructions for installing all of these programs can be found on the course website, which is most likely Moodle. When you open PyCharm for the very first time, you will have some sort of dialog box asking you about completing installation. You probably do not have a prior version of PyCharm on your computer, so you can click Do Not Import Settings and click OK. You will then have to accept the privacy policy. You have to scroll down to be able to hit Accept. Of course, the best thing you can do with privacy policies is to read them first. You can choose whether or not to send JetBrains information about how you use PyCharm, which can help them improve the program. I often say don't send because it takes up computing resources and can slow down the program, but it's up to you. You're now at a Customize PyCharm option. I recommend hitting Skip Remaining and Set Defaults because you can go back and do this later. If instead you'd like to set your customizations of how everything looks inside PyCharm, go ahead and do that, and then continue the video once you are done. Now you have your version of PyCharm, which may be slightly different from the version that I have on this computer, up and running. However, when you first start using PyCharm, you need to set up a few different settings to make sure that it will actually work correctly on your computer for this course. The Configure button down at the bottom of the splash screen is how you do that. So click on Configure and then either Settings or Preferences. Within here, we care about two different pieces. One is the project interpreter. You want to choose your Python interpreter if it's not already here so that you use the correct one to run all of your programs in the course. Mine does not show my particular Python interpreter, so I will click on Settings and click Add. I can then scroll down to try to find the correct one in case you have more than one. If you are on a Mac, you will have some things potentially installed automatically by Mac. Instead, you want to be sure that you are using the one for this course, which is Anaconda 3. In my case, I find it under Existing Environment, Users, my username, anaconda3/bin/python. You may end up having to create a new environment to find it on your computer, but wherever you installed Anaconda 3, that's where it should be able to find it. Feel free to get in touch if you are having trouble with this step on your computer. Now that it says Python 3 point something, you may have 3.6, you may have 3 point something else, but it should be the most recent version of Python 3 for the course and the semester in which you are taking the course. Now you know that all your code will be run the correct way. Next thing we need to set up is version control. So we're using a program called Git through GitHub. So under version control, you should have an option that says Git. It has already found where Git is on my particular computer, so I do not have any problems here. If it has not found it on your computer, make sure you've already installed Git. You should have done that before installing PyCharm. If you haven't installed it, go ahead and install it. If you have installed it, then you will need to find this Git executable on your particular computer. If you are on Windows, it's probably under Program Files. If you are on a Mac, it's probably /user/bin/git, as you can see here in the video. Before leaving the Git tab, you want to make sure that what you found actually does work. To do that, you will want to click on the Test button. Git executed successfully for me. That means it was able to find the Git executable and run it. If you got an error message, then you may not actually have it pointing to Git correctly, or you may have made an error when installing Git. Next, we want to click on GitHub. This will make sure that it has our account connected on here so that we can actually pull down our code from the GitHub website that we use in class. So you'll want to click on Add Account. Then you'll want to click Log in and put in the username you created on the first day of class. Hopefully you wrote that down. And then you will want to type in your password. Then click Login. It found me, so it shows my username and my user picture as well as my name. If you got an error, make sure that you have typed your username correctly, and also make sure that you are using the same password you created when you created your account. A word of caution on adding your username and password to GitHub into PyCharm. This is a totally fine thing to do on your own computer and on any Loyola computer while logged into your own computer account. However, you should never log in this way on someone else's personal computer or while someone else is logged into a Loyola machine. This would give them access to all of your code for this course, and that would constitute an honor code violation, as then another student could copy your code from your project and put it into their own project. So be sure to protect your privacy and only log in to GitHub under your own computer account or your own computer. Once you have set both GitHub and Git and also your project interpreter, you can hit OK. These steps ensure that PyCharm will work correctly for every single project that you use within this environment. As long as you do not change any of these settings in the future, then you should not need to edit these settings at all during the course of this semester in this class.